You're now tuned into the Lady Charmaine live show, and I'm your host, Lady Charmaine. And when you think of a sexy, deep baritone voice, you might think of my today's guest because he has a way with words that just leave the ladies fantasizing for weeks. And I'm going to tell you who it is coming up right after this. My guest today is a Grammy-nominated recording artist who is dubbed the Prince of Sophisticated Soul. His career has spanned 30 years, and he's here today to talk about his TV One Unsung episode, The Story of Will Downing. Help me welcome to the Lady Charmaine live show, Mr. Will Downing. Welcome to the show.
Yay! Yay! Crowd goes wild.
I know that's right. Well, Will, how you doing today? Can you hear me, Will? Uh-oh.
No.
There you go.
Nope, it just went out. I can hear you now.
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Literally and figuratively, yeah. I can hear you now.
Good. So how's your summer coming today? I mean, you having a good summer? Is it really hot out there where you are?
Right now, at this moment, I'm in Seattle, and it is actually a beautiful day. We have about 3 or 4 more shows left out here, so okay. It's not a bad day at all. It's not raining. You know, I woke up this morning, sun is shining.
Amen.
What do I have to complain about?
Praise the Lord for that.
You can't get no better than that.
Absolutely. You know what, Will? I ended up reading that you're actually stepbrothers with Michael McCreary, former member of Boyz II Men. Is that true?
No.
Yeah, okay, because, you know, I do my research and I got to ask. So I'm like, okay.
With that. So yeah, we both probably, if we were in the room talking to you, you probably wouldn't be able to tell us apart. But, you know, from a voice standpoint, but unless Papa was a Rolling Stone, nah.
Say, look, we ain't nowhere related. not even step. Okay. Well, anyway.
But, that's another show for another time.
Okay, so we'll be talking about that. But, well, you know, I let you know earlier that I'm a huge fan of yours. And after 20 albums and 3 decades in the music business, now we get a chance to take a sneak peek into your life on Sunday with the Unsung episode. Were you surprised to get the call from Unsung?
Actually, I was. I've known a lot of people that have done it, and they would always say, I mentioned your name, and it seems like their IQ wasn't that high on who I was as an artist. And I guess someone did some homework somewhere, and all of a sudden, my phone started ringing. And it was them, and they were interested in doing my story, and we sat down and did a preliminary sort of a thing, and I guess they thought I was somewhat interesting and thought the story was worth telling. And it is. So I'm looking forward to people watching it on Sunday on TV One, and it'll give you a whole lot of insight as to, you know, how I became the artist that you see today, and also what goes on behind the scenes in my life as well. So
were you a little nervous sharing your story and maybe parts of your story that maybe people did not know about you?
Well, I was nervous, not from my standpoint, but from when they talk to other people about, you know, your life and, you know, how you affected their life and how this whole thing intertwined. So it's always interesting to hear someone else's take on your life. So, you know, they're talking to my mom, and, you know, I'm not there. You know, you're not allowed to be there for the interview. So it's like they interview them privately. So they, you know, introduced, and they did a interview with my ex-wife, you know, so, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm a pins and needles, like, what the hell did you say? So it's very interesting when you see it all put together, and I've seen, like, a preliminary. I haven't even seen the final cut of it, so it should be interesting. What I saw was interesting, and hell, it's my life. I always thought my life was boring until I watched it, and then I thought it was pretty good.
Well, I can tell you, I got a chance to watch your life, so I got a chance to see the show. And it's very good. I think you're going to enjoy it on Sunday. So I got a chance to watch it, and it was very good. They did a very good job with your story. So I just want to tell you, I think you're going to be proud.
Okay. Well, you still
So,
talking to me, so I guess I wasn't that bad. I wasn't that much of a hemorrhoid.
no. The
But you
story
didn't want
was
to talk to me
good.
anymore.
It was very tasteful. Your wife did, of course you did a good job. And I know it's nerve-wracking, like, what are these people going to say? Because, it's not like you sat down and talked to them and you guys agreed, okay, this is what you're only going to share. They're going to share, like you said, their point of view of your life, and you kind of wonder what they're going to say. But everybody did a really good job. So I'm just so happy to see how, you came through it. As they say, I want to say unscathed. There was nothing that was bad. You told your story, and then you told your story in song, because we're going to talk about that as well. So everybody did a beautiful job. So I'm happy for you. And you.
I'm wiping my head.
Yeah, it was very good. And Will, you went to a school that some musical icons went to, like Barbara Streisand and Stephanie Mills. When did you take an interest in singing?
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, I've always had the ability to sing, but I didn't think that it was something that I could do for a living. It just seemed like it was something that I saw, other folks doing on TV, or you turn your radio on. It was foreign to me. And I've always had teachers around me that said, oh, yeah, you're a little bit more special than the other kids in the class. And I didn't know what that meant. I thought they meant like special. I wasn't thinking like talent special, but I guess they looked at it from, he got a really nice voice. And so I just kept pursuing it. And when I graduated from high school, I mean, I didn't think that I was going into this at all. I was actually going into the Marines. And I was at the recruiter's office, and I was 17, and I didn't realize you had to be 18. And I went home with the papers and, had my parents, or I wanted my parents to sign, saying that they would agree to me going in, and my parents wouldn't sign. And I didn't know what I was going to do, and I ran into my old music teacher, literally just walking down the street. And he, gave me a scholarship, or arranged for a scholarship for me to go to school and study more music. And that's when I really dived into the music business. I really made like a real push for it then. But so it wasn't really up until, college that I really took a real interest in it.
Now, one of my favorite songs back in the day was 100 Ways by James Ingram. It was a song that was schooling the fellas, when he goes, compliment what she does, send her roses just because. Brothers was getting some instructions, from a grown man in a way to really treat a woman. But then several years later, a song comes out called Million Ways. Oh, Lord. It took instructions to another brother to a whole nother level. I mean, you came across, Will, with the gentleness and the sexiness and the way that you approach the song. And I got to go over these lyrics. I'm going to tell you, they just do something. Tell me, Will. And first when you start off, when you says, when she's down and she needs a hug, that's the time to show her love, or maybe just a foot rub. A million ways to please a woman.
There you go. Yes. Million ways to please a woman.
And then wait a minute.
Don't talk a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Then you take it there. There you go. And with the way you said there, you said, don't talk a lot. Listen instead. I mean, you want to know, get in her head. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Then you kill it, Will. Because making love just ain't in the bed. I'm like, okay. And then here's the part. See, this is where you kill it, Will. This is where we go. We go all the way here. You go. When she's in the heat, she needs a free represent, put her to sleep. And then you say, be a man, don't be weak. That's how you gotta please. Okay, I'm done. Okay. Okay.
Well, what do you need me for? You sound better than I do. You know the lyrics. They have some significance to you. What the hell you need me for? We should be doing an unsung on you.
Oh, my God. Okay. Okay, now I'm done with my song. I'm letting everybody know that's one of my favorite songs by Will Downing. You came out with that when you broke the mold. And I have to ask you, what did men have to say to you? Did any men come up to you to say, man, hey, thank you? What was the response from the fellas regarding Million Ways?
What? Well, you know what? I didn't write that song. The artist Joe wrote the song. So Joe wrote that one.
Okay.
And when I do it live, I mean, sometimes I even make a joke about it on stage because, there's a lot of women out there who think just like you do. And then I let them know, listen, these are songs. And they always say, I wish my boyfriend, I wish my husband, I wish, hey, lady.
Right.
These are songs.
But it was instructions for a brother.
Song to try to get next to somebody, and it sounded good, And they figured if they could get closer to him, that's what they were going to say. I said, and don't get me wrong, I am a romantic, but most songs are there to stimulate the mind, and that's what they do. So thank God that I delivered the song the way that it touched your heart and a whole bunch of other folks. So I'm just the narrator. I'm the narrator, and so I did some good narration on that song.
Absolutely.
So,
oh, you did. You delivered it with such excellence. I thought you wrote that song. So I could tell it touched your heart too, Will. It was beautiful.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, you had you're so funny. You had great success, Will, in the UK with some songs, but they also struggled here in the US. Why do you think in the beginning your songs struggled here in the United States?
I wish I had the answer. I really don't know. I mean, I thought that, the songs would resonate with the people here. I mean, obviously, when you start your career out, you're not even thinking about the rest of the world. You're thinking about, your folks in your neighborhood. So I'm thinking my folks in Brooklyn and New York were going to hear the whole album.
Right.
Oh, man, you made it. I didn't even realize I had a record out. And all of a sudden, I started getting these phone calls from booking agents asking if I was interested in going overseas and doing some work. And I had never really been out the country, so I'm like, I guess, and I'm thinking it's going to be like, little clubs or something like that. And I get over there, and, we start doing theaters. I mean, 2,500 seat theaters, 3,000 seat theaters, 1,500 seat theaters, and the place is packed. And a mixture of people, I mean, black and white, old and young, that are serious kind of R&B, soul music lovers, and they're singing these songs with you. And it is the most incredible feeling that you can ever have to be an appreciated artist. So when my career kind of really started over there, I didn't know what I was getting into, but when I got there, I soon learned. And I was just there actually a couple of weeks ago. Well, last week I was in London doing a show, and it was the same sort of thing, just real music appreciators, really music appreciators. Sorry,
right,
so
right.
They love music.
Now, Dreamful Field album helped you literally to fulfill your dream here in the U.S. because you ended up having songs that were in the top 20. You did an Angela Bofield cover called I Tried. Then you also had a song called I Go Crazy. They helped you really fulfill that dream. What was that feeling like to finally have your dream fulfilled here in the U.S. to top the charts?
Well, I mean, it was great to come back home and to be able to work. I mean, I was living here anyway, but spending a lot of time in Europe. So it was good that like a lot of the stations here in America were starting to kind of realize that there was someone on the scene. And it was almost like starting all over again. It was my third album when A Dream Fulfilled came out, but they were treating me as if I was a new artist. So it's hard to explain. It's hard to figure out the timeline and the whole thing that makes this thing work. I don't understand it. I don't know if I want to understand it. I've been blessed to be an international recording artist, so I take full advantage of it.
Well, you're an international sex symbol now, not just recording artists. You are.
I don't know about that. Hey, lady, these are just songs, lady. They're just songs.
That's right. Don't they call you Chocolate Thunder? Now you know that's the truth. That is so funny. That story is so funny.
I'm not saying nothing. I ain't amening. If that's what you say, amen.
Amen to that.
You ain't gonna hear from me first.
See, that's where the modesty comes from, and I think that's why a lot of people like you, Will, because you're very humble and you're very, modest in that area, which is good. So I'm glad. I think that's why God is just continuing to bless you. But you have a song, and it's called "Sorry I," and it was a song that was really written, from your heart, and you put really your heart into words. Can you briefly tell us about that story? The story behind the song.
I can't remember the exact year, but I've been married. This is my second marriage, and this was a song regarding my first relationship with my now ex-wife, and we were going through some problems. And when you get to that space where you're talking at each other and not to each other, we were there. And I wanted her to hear what was on my mind, so I put it in a song. And we had 2 kids together, and I wanted to let them know that they were loved, but we were just having some problems, and we ended up breaking up. So hence the title. Hey, sorry I couldn't be what you wanted me to be. Sorry I meant to be this. Sorry so I needed her to hear it. And that was real important to me that, she understood that it was nothing more than just two very young people. I got married when I was 19.
Wow. That's
and we were very, very, very young. And we just sort of grew apart. And I'm sorry, it didn't work out.
Wow. That's beautiful. And it sounds like it would be touching, for a wife to hear that song, because you hear it in lyrics and it's like, wow, well, you're able to be in a space, not just hear from you just personally, but in a song and to be able to hear your heart and how you put it in there. But Will, now your career has taken.
Oh yeah, she wasn't as forgiving as you just sounded, but yeah. It was therapeutic. It was therapeutic for me. I
sorry. Okay. Okay. I just thought, guess it took a minute. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys are in a better place now. So that's a blessing.
These are songs, lady.
That's right. I can hear that's a thread throughout your musical career. These are songs, lady. Oh, that's funny.
These are songs, lady. They're just songs.
But out there, in your music career, it's taking off and you're doing well. Then all of a sudden a health crisis comes out of the blue. And I wanted to talk to you about that because how difficult was that, especially when you're a singer and you live for the stage and God has given you a gift to sing for the people. What was that process like for you to go through that? Not sure if you're going to make it out of it. What was that? Let's just go into your mind a little bit. And how long was that process from when you got sick to when you were able to hit that stage again?
Well, I got sick in the latter part of 2006, early part of 2007. And it was the most eye-opening thing that has ever happened to me in my life. Because it's a lot of times people look at artists and they look at athletes and people of the like as being not human. And this was one of those things where this let everyone know, and it let me know that you're not above anything.
Right.
And it's something that, money can't buy you out of. You're nothing without your health. And I got hit. And I got hit hard. It wasn't one of those things, well, yeah, you take a week off, you take 2 weeks off. It wasn't that at all. My dumb behind was afraid to go to the doctor like a lot of men, especially black men. I felt myself physically changing. Something was definitely wrong, but I was afraid to go to the doctor, and I didn't go in fear of things being worse than what they were, or hearing something that was going to be worse than what it was. And so I didn't go, and I was deteriorating, very slowly but surely. And then finally, one day it just hit ahead, and before you know it, I was paralyzed. And, then I was kind of relegated to a wheelchair and a hospital bed for, collectively, probably a year and a half.
Wow.
And that was my life. Yeah, absolutely. It's bizarre.
Not just bizarre.
I've ever experienced.
And like you said a couple of things, a point that I want to hit on, because do you have a message for men? Because there was a lot of men who do not go to the doctor. A friend of mine's father ended up dying from cancer, did not want to go to the doctor, went and found out that he was in stage 4 cancer, ended up dying literally less than a week later. Why is it that men do not like to go to the doctor? Is it that they're afraid to hear a diagnosis? What is that?
Well, yeah, that's definitely it. At least that was my story. I didn't want to go there and find out that I had something and that I had a short span of time to live. And, then it became a very physical and mental thing for me. So I just didn't go. And then, men are just, we're men. We're thinking like, oh, fuck it up. You're fine, get up, do a couple of push-ups, go to the gym.
Right.
Lift some weights, take up boxing. Like, nah, this is a little bigger than that. And I learned the hard way. So for all the brothers out there, and just men in general, whoever's listening out there, the one thing that you should do is listen to your lady. And my lady was trying to tell me, all the women in my life were trying to tell me to go to the doctor. My mother, my sisters, look a little beat up. I'm like, yeah, I was using every excuse under the sun not to go to the doctor. And they said, you look a little beat up. I was like, yeah, we did the shows last night. You know, and I was having problems doing stuff. I was like, yeah, it was that long plane ride. Well, you know, man, you know, we did this, we did that, I did this. And it was every excuse until I got to the point where it was too late. And I could have probably lessened what I had gone through had I gone to the doctor even 6 months prior to, you know, when I got that unbelievably, you know, that sickness, that unbelievably sickness, that unbelievable sickness. So, yeah, I just didn't go. So, you know, I should be a shining example of what not to do.
Okay. So I'm the poster child.
Don't be like Mike, you know, in this case. Yeah, don't be like Will. Be like Mike, don't be like Will. Don't do that. So,
I know that's...
you know, go to the doctor. Women are very much in tune with themselves.
Right.
So they go.
Right.
And, you know, just go get yourself checked out. How bad can it be?
And what was it called? What was the name of what you ended up being diagnosed with?
Oh, it was called polymyositis. And it was something where it's an autoimmune disease where your cells attack each other. Like your B cells attack the C cells. And for me, it attacked my muscles. So if I did anything strenuous, then what it would do was make my muscles tighten. And then it would tighten so much to the point where you can't walk or you can't move your arms. You can't anything. That's how tight you'd be walking like Frankenstein, if you could walk at all. And mine had gotten so bad that I couldn't walk at all. And that's what happened to me. So they had to figure out what medicine would work for me. And that took a long time to figure out. And we finally found something that worked. And, you know, a year and a half later, I started making my comeback. And once you've been down for a long period of time, your muscles sort of atrophy. So your muscles have to be retrained again. So I had to learn how to walk again, how to speak again, how to sing again, all of that stuff. So it was, for lack of a better phrase, it was a bitch. But, you know, thank God. Thank God I made it.
You did. And the beautiful thing about that, Will, is I'm going
to say it the way it should be said.
Right. I was going to say, but the beautiful thing about that, Will, from your sick bed, you ended up coming up with a #1 single. So who would have thunk it through everything that you've been through? And, you know, and you go through this and then look what God has done. And you would never know that you have been through this at all. You know what I mean? Just telling your story. When I was watching your story on Unsung, it's like, I would have never known he had gone through this because you literally look like you look good. You don't look, you know, right now you don't look sick. You look good. You look healthy. And it's like, wow, for only thing I can say is to God be the glory for the things that he has done. So that's all I can do is definitely give him the praise. And one thing I want the audience to know that you're a photographer. Didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. And you also have a coffee table book?
I started doing that many years ago. And I just took it up as an outlet. There was a woman who used to shoot a lot of my album covers. And then, you know, one day she shot something and she showed me, like, you know, just a test shot. And I started critiquing it. And she got mad. I mean, like, legitimately, like, mad. Like, well, you know, you're not going to just shoot your own pictures. And so literally the next week I went out and I bought a camera. And this is the back before digital, so I've been shooting film. And I was terrible. And I don't like being terrible at anything. So I kept practicing, kept shooting. And that's how I really got into it. And then the easiest subject matters for me have been music-related subjects. So instruments, musicians, singers, that sort of thing. And so I had a vantage point that, you know, other photographers didn't have access to. I'm literally on stage. So if I'm opening up for some of the people I photographed, like Gil Scott, and my contemporaries like Regina Bell or Shantae Moore, and if we're on tour together, we're on stage together, I can say, hey, Jill, can I come over and photograph you for something? And it gives me access to, you know, to like a Gil Scott or Anthony Hamilton or whoever. And I just go by their house, I have them come by mine, and we make it happen. Or if it's a live thing, I'm literally on stage. You know, I'm at what is the monitor that's on stage, and I'm shooting from there. So my shots are a lot more intimate. You know, you really get to the emotion that's coming out of an individual while they're playing or singing. So, I love it. I really love it.
That's beautiful. Well, Will, I want to say thank you so much for coming on this show. It was definitely a pleasure having you. Had a good time. Had fun with you, Will. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And I want to remind the audience, if you're tuning in, well, I know you're tuning in, to tune in to TV One's Unsung this Sunday. It's going to be airing on Sunday, July 8th, 8 Central for the story of Mr. Will Downing. So, again, make sure you guys tune in this Sunday. And, again, Will, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me. All right.
All right. And again, don't forget to tune in to TV One Unsung this Sunday for the story of Will Downing. And this segment of the Lady Charmaine Live Show is sponsored by Rebuilding Your Dreams After the Storm Women's Conference. So if you have anyone that you know that's going through anything at this particular time in their life, I want to make sure that you go online right now to rebuildingyourdreamsconference.eventbrite.com and go ahead and get your tickets. It's going to be taking place on Saturday, July the 28th in Elk Grove. And again, go ahead and get those tickets. Just go to rebuildingyourdreamsconference.eventbrite.com and let them know that Lady Charmaine sent you. And again, I want to say thank you to my very special guest, Mr. Will Downing. Don't forget to tune in this Sunday. You're going to enjoy it. So if you always wondered, okay, what has Will been up to? Tune in Sunday to find out. Thank you so much for listening to the Lady Charmaine Live Show.